Okay, here we go. We're going to kick off the final section of Mod 11, talking about V-groove welds with backing. This is real short. I'm going to try to keep it under 10 minutes. Okay, our objectives are to describe the technique required to produce groove welds in 1 and 2G, and describe techniques required to produce groove welds in 3 and 4G. Performance task is going to be do a 1, 2, 3, 4 G weld using 7018s. We're going to be doing that in the lab. You guys have been working with padded beads, which is really not a lot different, but there are some differences, and we're going to have to start using those coupons. You're going to have to start assembling, cutting metal, beveling, and assembling. Anyway, let's move forward. V groove with backing is normally made by low hydrogen 7018 electrodes. Using steel backing plates eliminates the need for back gouging and a fast, effective way to prepare the joint for welding. It also makes welding the root pass easier because you don't have to worry about blowing through like an open root. The V-groove with steel backing procedure is also used the standard AWS qualification test for plate welding. The most common test is the limited thickness qualification up to 3/4 inch, which requires use of a 3/8 inch steel plate and the welding with a low-high electrode. Interesting little footnote here. The backing can either be left in place or removed after the welding is done. If the backing is to be removed, an R is inserted in the welding symbol. See right here, the little welding symbol with this weld together. The R stands for remove. Test question over here. The backing plate on a groove weld can either be left in place or removed. If it is to be removed, highlight, an R is inserted in the welding symbol. All right, let's talk about groove weld positions. Groove welds can be made in all positions. The weld position for plate is determined by the weld and the orientation of the workpiece. For a groove weld in a flat position or a 1G, horizontal for a 2G. Test question, study guide question. Horizontal groove weld position is known as 2G. 2G, horizontal. 2G. Groove weld positions for plate are flat, which is 1G. Horizontal is 2G. Vertical is 3G. Overhead is 4G. But this question is, and you guys should know all 4 of these by now. You've been welding them. There should be no, it's 2G for groove, 2F for flat. F and G and 1 through 4. That mystery is solved. Which of the following can be quenched without concern? Okay, let's talk about quenching. Well, let's see. Groove welds should be made with slight reinforcement, gradual transition to the base metal at each toe. Here's some examples of underfill, excessive undercut. This is a proper weld, acceptable weld. Incomplete penetration. That would show up on the X-ray as incomplete penetration. The root weld did not have 100% penetration down to the backing strip. Excessive reinforcement. This big hump right here on top. Overlap is too much on either side, with a little concavity in the middle of the convexity in the middle of the concave. Underfill valleys between the beads. That's another form of lack of fusion. Here's some lack of fusion down here that would show up in the X-ray. Turn the page. Flat groove weld. When using weave beads, keep the electrode at a 90-degree work angle with a 10 to 15 drag. Practicing flat V groove welds with backing. 1G position. There's your rod angle. When you're in the 1G, do not cool practice coupons in a sink used for washing hands or on a water fountain. Use a bucket or a bin to avoid clogging the sink with dirt. Quenching with water is only done on practice coupons. That's actually a test question right here. Never cool testing coupons or functional welds with water. Rapid cooling with water can cause welds to crack. So, rapid cooling with water cause welds to crack. If you look over here on the left, which of the following can be quenched without concern? The answer is practice coupons. Practice coupons. Here we go. Next question is going to be quenching water with water is only done on practice coupons. Never cool testing coupons or functional welds with water. Rapid cooling with water can cause weld cracks to affect the mechanical properties of these metals. True or false? That's true. When using weave beads on flat V grooves, keep the electrode angle at a 90-degree work angle with a, I think that was right back up here, 10 to 15 drag angle. So on a flat, 10 to 15 drag angle. When using weave beads on a flat V groove, keep the electrode angle at 90-degree work, 10 to 15 drag. 90-degree work, 10 to 15 drag. Flat or 1G groove welds. When practicing a horizontal, I want to get ahead. Tack welding, the practice coupon. Tack weld here, tack weld here. Tack it together. Position the weld coupon flat on the table. Run the root pass using 7018. Actual number of weld beads vary depending on plate thickness and electrode diameter. We use a 3/32 welding rod, so you're going to look at 6 passes. Root, fill, cap. That's what you should expect. These 1, 2, 3 are not acceptable for the welding competitions. If there's a new WPS, if it's not out yet, it's coming out. We're not going to practice this because that's going to handicap us if they force us to do a multi-bead cap. All right, moving right along. V groove. 2G. Before welding in the V groove, the horizontal stringer beads, it's basically the same. Drag angles 10 to 15 degrees. Work angle should be 0. To control the weld puddle, the electrode can be dropped slightly, but no more than 10 degrees. Clean it between passes. And just practice. You want to start at the bottom and then stack them up. Don't start at the top. When you're going left to right in a 2G, you want to start down here and feel it going up. If you start down here and try to feel it going down, that's going to be a disaster. Note that the first pass and the root pass is critical because it needs to tie into the backing plate of each bevel test coupon. Weaving a root, a W weave. You can see how they do little W's. You want to pause at the end of each weave. Clean the weld bead with a chip and hammer wire brush between all passes. Run the fill and cover passes. This question says, when practicing horizontal V grooves, pay particular attention at the termination or the end of the weld to fill the what? Fill the crater. I'm not sure where that is. But that's the answer. Follow these steps. Here we go with 3G position. Basically, you assemble your coupon and set it up. Clean between passes. Here's your rod angle. Should be 0 to 10 degrees push with a 90-degree work angle. So you're just, you guys know this. You start down here and you're running it up. Just a little bit of a push, 10-degree rod angle. Set the amp on the lower part of the range for better puddle control. When using a weave, make sure that you pause slightly at each toe to prevent undercut. For better puddle control, stay in the lower part of your amperage range. When groove welding overhead, you are welding in the what position? What position is overhead? Overhead groove is at a 1G, 2F, 3F, or 4G. I hope you guys said 4G because it's 4G. Welding overhead in a 4G, you're going to keep a 90-degree work angle, 10 to 15-degree drag. Follow these steps. Here's a good drawing. Weld direction is this way. 10 to 15-degree drag, moving in this direction. Always let your take your electrode out of your electrode holder after you're done to prevent arcing. Stack your beads using glasses. And finally, which of the following can be quenched without concern? Practice coupons. When V-groove welding overhead, you're welding in the 4G position. And that's going to end up Mod 11, Section 2. Went a minute or two over 10 minutes. Good luck.